Today, I'm going to break down the exact funnel that basically allowed me to generate $766,295 in 115 days for one of my Airbnb coaching clients. I started working with them around March. They were doing a low ticket program. And in that low ticket program, they basically were kind of stuck. They were doing like 30, 40K a month selling a $997 course and a $50 a month community. And they were doing like 30, 40K a month. They were getting a bunch of chargebacks and it just wasn't fun. So what are the three funnels that I used that resulted in six-figure months for these clients? I mean, after 4 years of testing different approaches with Airbnb, e-commerce, fitness, trading, even dating coaches, there are three funnel types that consistently work incredibly well. Number one is the VSL funnel. Simple video sales letter, captures leads, educates on your methodology, pre-sales the transformation. It's evergreen and it's easy to scale, whether you're scaling horizontally or vertically. They're good for both. Then we have the webinar funnel, which is great for launching new programs or re-engaging existing audiences. Just imagine, I mean, you can have someone on a VSL for 8 minutes, or you can have them on a webinar for 1.5 hours. Who do you think is going to be a more qualified person to ultimately speak to? Last but not least, number three is the low ticket to high ticket bridge. You start with an affordable entry point and then you ascend to premium coaching. It builds trust before the big ask, but the sales cycles are a little bit longer. The real secret to all of this is essentially leveraging the momentum wave method, which is something that Alex Hormozi talks about, that basically feeds all three funnels and creates massive momentum from launch, which is responsible for six-figure launch. So what are the results that we basically got for them? Month one, which was we leveraged the momentum wave launch, initial VSL launch and system implementation, the learning curve that we leveraged as we optimized messaging and qualification. We limited to 12 spots at 8.5K price point. We did this to ensure proper client fulfillment. Then in month number two, the momentum wave method was in full effect. And what really was awesome is we had people that wanted to join, but the 12 spots were filled up. And then in the second month, we basically upped it to 25 spots, which allowed us to retarget these people, get them back in. And when I say retargeting campaigns, I'm more talking about email and Instagram rather than advertising. And the systems were just starting to hit their stride, right? Month three, momentum wave kind of died down. Now we were really focusing on optimization and evergreen refinement, building towards the breakthrough month. And then essentially, last but not least, in month number four, we did $406,000. That was the peak performance month. We did 2 webinars. We had multiple revenue streams firing simultaneously, highest close rates due to the refined processes. That showed how systematic implementation leads to exponential results. The 40% close rate was critical to these results. Most coaching businesses struggle to close even 20% of their calls when we're taking qualification, no-show rate, and all that stuff into consideration. Now, what was the funnel that was responsible for this amount? And this is what I do with every single client. We have a launch phase and optimization phase. And then once everything is optimized, now we can truly start scaling. The starting point was 180,000 Instagram followers, which they built that over a 2-year time frame. They had 1,400 active community members. They had no systematic funnel for high ticket conversion, low monthly revenue, 25 to 40K a month range. Their biggest concerns, they were scared they were burning their audiences from changing something, right? We would never fly a plane if we'd never see a plane fly before. They were scared that their followers weren't ready for high ticket offers because they were already getting chargebacks. They were already getting refund requests. There were people in their DMs asking for a discount on the $50 a month, right? And they were concerned that one failed launch could destroy their entire business, their reputation. So what is the 3-step launch system that we leveraged that essentially allowed us to get rid of all these objections that were showing up within their business, right? The biggest mistake that we corrected was their belief about what people wanted to buy. They were focused on helping people to find their first Airbnb property, helping people with their Airbnb setup and optimization tips and legal and tax considerations. And what we did is we shifted to what people actually wanted. The way that we did that is we basically created this entire client persona and we went through every single piece here. So what are the pain points? How do we solve every single pain point that shows up? And what are the outcomes that they achieve through there? And then obviously, what are the deliverables? How we actually make sure that people get the outcome. Now, from that, you create your one sentence that basically explains exactly what you do. In 12 weeks, we help you acquire your first Airbnb property and have full clarity on how to scale your portfolio. The way that we do that is through these program deliverables. This is not something obviously you're going to be telling people directly, but this is basically what they did for that 8.5K price point to be able to help people get the results. So we created a program that is able to allow people to get this particular outcome that they were looking for. Then step number 2, now we can launch the pre-marketing. Now we know what people want. Now we know why people are here. And now what we can do is we can basically pre-market effectively for launches. Now, why do you do that? People want what they can't immediately have. And it's kind of like Hollywood style marketing. These Hollywood movies, they have these massive first weekend launches. The reason this works so well, the reason these movies do this, when you are able to gather attention and build anticipation for what it is that you're building, people are automatically going to like more what you have to offer. And they're automatically going to be thinking, oh, I want to figure out more about this. Like when will I get more information? When will I get more information? I want to know if I like this. So you're going to be much more engaged with what it is that you're doing. And it allows you to do audience research because it allows you to test hooks with zero negative impact. You can do marketing messages. You can send out marketing reels. You can send out emails. You can send out YouTube videos that are just testing what hooks are working and what people are engaging with the most. And it allows you to also collect emails for future marketing. No big movie drops without pre-launch marketing. How do we build anticipation? School communities, Instagram stories, YouTube videos, and email. The momentum wave is basically based on the whisper to shout funnel, which the way it's broken down, I have a couple examples right here. Post number 1, day 1 to 5, is I'm about to launch something I've never done before. Something game-changing is coming in 13 days. Behind the scenes content, podcast. This is really where you start kind of whispering that something is going to happen, building that anticipation for people to kind of see like, hey, what's going on, right? They're going to start interacting with your stuff a little bit more. Then we have the tease phase where we kind of show like movies, like we kind of show like this is kind of what's happening, but not all the information is there yet. So one of the posts that works very well, and we see it right here, I'm about to launch something I've never done before, which is obviously a whisper. Then a tease is like, I'm excited to launch my first ever cohort, 12 available spots. They'll fill up fast. If you want to be one out of 12, DM Airbnb. Everything in those posts has to start becoming outcome specific. We can leverage tease freebies. So some of the freebies that work very well is case studies. So for example, a case study, how I acquired my first property in a new market, or how XYZ person acquired their first property in this new market through XYZ method, which is the method obviously that my client was using. Client interviews, or a free course or free training that really gets people to engage with you and feel and see what it is to work with you and your level of specificity. Then the shout days, these are the days that we're basically going to be shouting from the rooftop exactly what we're going to do and really drawing these people in to now essentially, make sure they start engaging with you. So we start that on day number 10. I'm launching my one-on-one mentorship on Monday. Until then, shoot me a message and I'll send you, a free training, something like that. Really to collect the demand, collect the emails. And then on day number 14, my one-on-one coaching launches tomorrow. This is for you if you're a beginner, intermediate, or already have 1 to 3 properties. I basically guarantee you land your first Airbnb property in 12 weeks. Only 12 spots available. Join the wait list below to secure your spot. And then last but not least, right here, the moment that we launch, which is on that Monday, I've just opened 12 spots for my one-on-one mentorship. A one-on-one student gets private one-on-one daily guidance, blah, 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 blah. This is exactly what you get. 12 spots only for launch. Apply now. As you see, all the pictures in the background kind of have to be, it depends on what you're doing, right? But if you're selling business opportunity, you want them to be around lifestyle, around stuff that people want to do, around stuff that people really love and think is cool. So this is the email that I basically wrote on launch, exactly like covering exactly what's showing up. So you can pause the video, you can copy this email, obviously when you copy it, change it a little bit. This is the Whisper community post on school that we basically posted. I sent this to my client, making sure that people start seeing like, hey, this is something that might be interesting. Now we have launched, and that launched at $89,000 with this extremely simple but effective system. Every single person that on that Monday when we launched, we send them to the VSL funnel. That VSL funnel was extremely simple and extremely clear. A 15-minute VSL focused on transformation, not tactics, addressing the number one objection. I don't have money for properties, right? This is what a lot of people struggle with. Show the exact path from $0 to $30,000 a month systematically, and then using real student and property case studies or your own case studies, can be your own results as well. The application form, a type form application to qualify serious prospects. Key questions filtered out time wasters and non-buyers, and only qualified leads got calendar access. The other leads were sent to the community or they were just sent to the email list. 40% close rate from qualified calls, significantly higher than the typical 15 to 25%. And this high rate came from proper qualification, campaign momentum, every single client that enrolled at premium pricing. This was the VSL landing page, extremely simple, like you see right here. I actually think I made this on card. So this is what the funnel looks like, extremely simple. Application form plus book a call, email and text follow-up, manual outreach, iMessage or WhatsApp is number one. Ensures that people actually connect with the sales rep directly, and your response rate, your show rate will be a lot higher, and then we direct them to the sales call. So this was the exact system that got our client from 40K a month to 89K a month the next month, and still making about 30K with his other products. So he made over $100,000 from 30K just by the implementation of this exact system that allowed him to then launch his high ticket program. Obviously, what we did was a lot more specific than just this, but you can actually get results already if you just take this. However, you'll kind of burn your audience a little bit because you can only do this once, a year, or once every 7, 8, 9 months, because it's a little bit interesting if you say, I'm launching a new program every single week. People are going to feel burnt by you quite quickly. Then what's the optimization? Now, if you've never been able to run high ticket before, optimization is crucial. Optimization is so important. Before you continue scaling, leverage your first launch month and the month after for optimization. Don't focus on the money, focus on performance, focus on profitability. And then once you're profitable, and this is kind of a lot of people, and this is the mistake a lot of coaching programs make, they have to hire maybe 7 or 8 setters and maybe 10, 15 closers to be able to do $1 million or 900K a month. And the reason that's the case is because they have improper optimization. They might have a 60% qualification rate on calls. They might have a 40% show up rate, which is not the ordinary. I have a lot of clients that I've worked with when I came in. These are the numbers that they're looking like. Only 60% of the people that they're talking to are qualified. Only 60% of people are showing up. And that all comes down to them not doing the optimization phase and just continuously pushing more money into the funnel. And when you continuously just push more money into the funnel without proper optimization, your numbers are going to break down. You're going to have a business that's only profiting at 30, 40, maybe 50% if you're lucky, rather than optimizing first, saying no to the short-term money, optimizing your business. And then by the time that your business is properly optimized, now when you put more fuel on the fire, you're actually going to make more money. So what do? Data analysis, bottleneck identification. So we were tracking where were leads dropping off in the VSL funnel, what was the average watch time. Then we analyzed which qualification questions were filtering out buyers versus tire kickers. By doing it on every single step, that just allowed us to easily see how much people fill out before they drop off. Then we identified peak call booking times and sales rep performance gaps. It's very funny because when you track close rate per hour, now you can actually see where you're losing out on the most money. We were not booking calls on the weekend because show rate was awful and close rate was terrible. People who book on the weekend, they just didn't have money. They weren't the people we were looking to work with. And then the other thing, we had 3 team meetings with the sales team at 12 p.m. Eastern, and the highest close rate was between 11 and 3 p.m., 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. So we were losing, maybe 4, 5, 6 sales a week by having those calls at those times. Then we reviewed close rate patterns by traffic source, community, cold audience, YouTube, what was performing the best, VSL performance tuning, which is A/B testing different hooks in the first 30 seconds, optimizing the objection handling section, which is your FAQ at the bottom of your page, added more specific income proof points and case studies. We tested a shorter versus longer VSL. YouTube audiences prefer, they only need a shorter VSL, and then IG needs a little bit of a longer VSL. Because you don't want to have short form people through a short form funnel because then they show up to the call and they're stupid. You don't want to talk to them. They're awful. They're terrible people. Then sales process enhancement, analyzed all the call recordings to identify common objections. We created objection handling scripts for recurring concerns, implemented pre-call research on prospect background. So figuring out exactly where they're coming from and how can we optimize the sales process for them specifically, and then optimizing pricing, presentation, and payment plan options. And then a follow-up systems. And then we implemented proper follow-up systems and we optimized them for what was working now. We built the automated nurture sequences for not now prospects, which, by the way, the best thing is just YouTube. Just tell people at the end of the call if they don't buy, hey man, check out this YouTube video. And they're there for a reason. They're already interested in this person, right? Don't forget that. So when you just follow up leveraging content, you don't have to have these crazy follow-up emails. You can just have them go back to fucking YouTube and you're going to be rich. Then we created win-back campaigns for no-shows and soft rejections, which again, pretty much is YouTube specific content, and then referral tracking and incentive programs. This really only came in later. Obviously, you don't do that in the beginning, but you can massively incentivize people that are in the program by giving them $500 or $1,000 or $1,500 when they refer someone and they actually close. Just kind of match your cost per acquisition and then optimize the email timing for maximum opens. During the optimization phase, the way we kept making money was by generating traffic, long form success interviews and guides with clear CTAs to a video sales letter, Instagram optimization of the bio. Read through this, I'm not going to tell you every single thing. Email and SMS, and then lead conversion. We had 2 setters to follow a DM script to basically nurture leads, to book calls and close high ticket offers, and basically message people that started following or reply to us. Cool. Now everything was optimized. Our close rate was stabilizing around a 40% range. We did, and this is the optimization months, month number 2, month number 3. Month number 2 was the biggest month until then, and then month number 3 was just optimization. Momentum wave kind of died down. Close rate dipped down to like 30%. Then we went into the scale phase. Now we had everything we needed to just do ridiculous numbers, to do massive numbers. And the way that we did that is in a market flooded with cold VSLs, book a call funnels. Webinars bring back the human element. They educate, they inspire, and they pre-sell in a way that a 15-minute video just can't do. While traditional VSL to call funnels can still convert, they often rely on heavy volume, aggressive retargeting. In contrast, a well-executed webinar builds trust, authority, and emotional buy-in all in one high-leverage format. Just keep it 1.5 hours. That's more than enough. So how do we attract people? Kind of similar to Momentum Wave, but then for the webinar. So just go back to that. Now we did it in a 10-day time frame. We leveraged organic and paid traffic. The only paid traffic that we did was retargeting YouTube views, sales call no-shows, and no bookings. And then the landing page was a promise-driven headline on Saturday, like 2 hours, going to show you exactly how to get your first property. 60 to 90-second video. This is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to be doing. Make sure you join. Watch this. It's free. Registration form is right below. Thank you page, email sequence, instant confirmation right away. Add to calendar button for Google Calendar and Apple Calendar. And then last chance, 15 minutes before, making sure people show up. And then optional, because we did not do this, but I know other people are doing this and are making money, Telegram group chat with value. And then conversion, the webinar structure on a really, really high level is introduction, build trust with a personal story, outcome promise, and then case studies of results. The problem, explain the gap in the market or common struggles, the shift, why your method flips the norm or breaks myths. So a lot of people have these certain myths around, I need to get properties right away. Something that we did with this client was actually teach people Airbnb hosting, because this client made money with Airbnb hosting as well. What we did is we taught people exactly, this is how you host properties, taking a workload from people, allowing you to get your first experience. These are properties that are already making money. This way you can get experience whilst making some money, putting some cash aside to then basically put down your first down payment on your rental property, right? Case studies demonstrate it works via real client success stories, and then the framework share the high-level strategy or method, 3 to 5 steps, and then we go directly into the call to action. Want to help applying this? Book a free strategy session right now, and then basically link that leads to a booking calendar and application form. This is what allowed us to do that crazy number in the month of June, like you see right here, to absolutely print that singular month and make a lot of money for the client. And then what we did for conversion is webinar structure, intro, problem, shift, case studies, framework. The problem, and this is something that worked really well for my client, is we basically taught exactly people how to host properties rather than having, needing 10K to put down money on a down payment and negotiate with realtors, which really doesn't work. People think it works because it looks fancy, but it's not the truth. Hosting is a lot easier to make your first 2-3K a month. And then from there, shifting into basically making sure that now you have enough money to put down a down payment. So that's exactly what we showed. Case studies, doing this for clients, and then the framework, the high-level strategy or method that we basically do. Create the offer, I can help you do this, and then call to action, do you want help applying this? Book a free strategy session right now. That allowed for that crazy month that we did in June 2024. Like you're gonna see right here, we were able to do 406,000 off those webinars. So that entire system then basically allowed us to print these massive results for my client, from $40,000 a month to $406,000 in a single month, doing $766,000 in revenue in 115 days, which is insane. We almost did $1 million in revenue in 4 months. Real breakthrough. Came into the final 25 days where everything clicked into place. The highest close rate was around 40%, which is critical to these results, especially people from the webinar. It was just a conversation around, do we have the money, yes or no? Now, what is it really on a high level that essentially made this work? One was the audience foundation, right? I can't work with someone with 2,000 followers that, doesn't look trustworthy. Nothing is going to happen. You're not going to make money, right? This is really for people that are already doing like maybe 10, 15K a month, either from their current program or from their school community or from their low ticket program that they're selling or their, whatever it is that they might be doing right now. Correct market positioning, focusing on income outcomes, not property tactics, and then addressing the real objections in the market, right? And this is really where market research comes in. Understanding what your people are looking for, what they're wanting, and positioning yourself as business building, not real estate education. Tony Robbins doesn't talk about personal development. He talks about building your life into a beautiful life. He doesn't say, oh, you have to develop your personality and the tactics are XYZ. He talks about when you want to be happy, you have to do XYZ. And this shift completely changes how people look at you. Campaign momentum, the whisper tea shout or momentum wave created fear of missing out and urgency. Community exclusivity made members feel special. I think we did a $500 discount for people that are already in the community. And then consistent messaging across all touch points. Systematic follow-up, multiple touch points for non-buyers, retargeting campaigns for video watchers. This is massive. Dude, this is so big. I'm terrible at running ads. I'm just telling you right here. I couldn't run an ad to save my life to a cold audience. But running ads, retargeting campaigns to video watchers, to people who engage with your profile, this is really where the money comes in because you go viral once, people look at your stuff, and now that allows you to build off of that momentum with just direct retargeting campaigns and then long-term nurture sequences for future launches. High quality qualification, application process filtered serious buyers, and only booked calls with high quality prospects, and then a higher close rates due to a better lead quality. Now, what did we do to ensure client success and what did the client do? This is more so if you're possibly interested in working with me. One, we built the complete sales infrastructure. So we created converting video sales letters, right? We developed engaging webinar presentations. We designed and optimized landing pages for maximum conversion, and we crafted comprehensive email sequences for nurturing prospects. I don't do this for every single client. I do this for clients that need that specific thing. Then we assembled and managed a sales team. I recruited 2 experienced closers that I personally know, that I've worked with in the past, that have proven track records. I provided comprehensive training on the offer and objection handling. They don't really need help on objection handling as much, more so on the offer and product knowledge because they both generated over 5 million before they came on that offer. So they probably know how to objection handle, maybe even better, probably not better than me, but they might think they know how to objection handle better than me. And then we manage daily operations and performance optimization. The way that I did that was those 3 meetings a week, which were 15 to 30 minutes, like for however long they were necessary. It was more so, and this is what good closers appreciate, I was more so asking them what's showing up, what do we need to change, what do we need to optimize. I wasn't really giving them advice because they were good closers. They didn't need too much advice. It was them giving me advice. Hey, this is what's showing up on calls. This is what needs to be changed. And we implemented a system for consistent follow-up and lead management. Yes, I want my closers to follow up, but more importantly, I want to make sure that when my closers follow up, we also have a system supporting their follow-up to make sure that they're not alone in the field. Then we established marketing foundations. We set up tracking and analytics systems. We created systematic follow-up processes for non-buyers, and we implemented retargeting campaigns for engaged prospects. That allowed us to then develop long-term nurture sequences for future launches. So I established the entire marketing foundation. I executed the strategic campaign launch, which we already spoke about before, the Whisper Tea shout funnel and everything around it. And I optimized lead quality and conversion. So pretty much I did everything that had to do with the entire conversion mechanism of the business. And my client did product fulfillment, delivered on promised outcomes and training, maintained high quality educational content, provided ongoing support to program participants. And then the thing that he did to bring in the money from his side was the content generation. He produced valuable content that allowed us to build the trust and authority that we needed, maintained consistent messaging across all the platforms that were obviously running, and engage with the community to maintain relationships and credibility. All right, cool. So now that you know what it is that I did for my client, you can basically take it for yourself. You can run with it. You can make some money. Or if you feel like, hey, I might want a little bit of help because I want to get the absolute maximum out of my audience. I understand I can't do this every single week and spend, months trying to figure this out because it's a launch. You can't launch a new anything every single day, right? Shoot me a message on Instagram. I'm happy to have a conversation, see if this would even work for you in the first place. And then if it does, let's make some money together. All right. Have a wonderful day.